We have all these amazing ways that we can connect with our audience. However, most of these are based on platforms that may or may not be around in the long run. But having your blog and building your email list are something that you want to try to do to make sure that people know your home base. So building a sustainable blog in 2017. And this will also take you into the future. And this is me. Started blogging in 2009. Just a quick recap in case you don't remember that Basic Blog Tips was launched in 2010 because I originally started blogging on WordPress.com and Blogger when I started in 2009. And then in 2015 is when I sort of decided that, I need to have my own name registered as a domain. And then that way I can continue on with Basic Blog Tips as a guest blogging blog. And then with Ileane Smith, I can go into other things like the podcasting and the live streaming, all that stuff. So when I originally did this presentation, I only have 5,000 subscribers. Now I'm over 5,500. And as you know, I spoke at Social Media Marketing World in 2017. I help people create meaningful content. And, this is one of the reasons why I thought it was important to bring this presentation to you guys, because it helps you do a little brainstorming about your content. Right now I'm reading the book from Joe Pulizzi and Robert Rose. If you guys know, they're my favorite podcasters from PNR's This Old Marketing. But the name of the book is Killing Marketing. And one of the things they talk about in that book is about people going after all these different outlets, but not really thinking which ones they need to get rid of and not pay attention to. So your content needs to be meaningful for your audience, not just creating content for the sake of content creation. So I use tutorials, videos, podcasts, and interviews. And quite frankly, most of the interviews are other people interviewing me. Your goals and what you want to accomplish, because look, don't go trying to climb the mountain unless you're in shape like this girl. Because if that was me right now, I'd probably be down there on those rocks. Okay. Or I could be like this girl, just with the blindfolds on and just like, maybe if I just keep hitting, sooner or later, some candy will fall out. You don't want to do that. Okay. I want to try to strategize. I'm spending a lot of time over on Anchor, and I heard someone get interviewed the other day, and they were talking about they're coming up with the title for their show. And the name of the show is Popcorn Finance. And so the guy asked, well, why did you name it Popcorn Finance? And so he said, well, I was thinking about how long it takes to pop a bag of popcorn, and it only takes a couple minutes. And I wanted my show to be those short segments, digestible segments about finance. And he said he thought of a couple of different variations, popcorn money. And he said, and that just didn't work out. But when he was just sitting down brainstorming, and he said Popcorn Finance sounded good. And I agree. I think that's a fantastic show name for a podcast. So anyway, do some brainstorming so you're just not swiping at the piñata hoping to get some bubble gum. Okay. So here's a few ideas of goals that you could have, right? To establish your thought leadership, to build awareness for your brand or selling your products or services. A lot of us have a mix of products and services. Like we may have a physical product too, but we also blend services into that. So as you're creating your blog posts, You want to keep that in mind. Of course, growing your email list. Of course, everybody's going to say you need to grow your list. But honestly, sometimes there's a time and place for it. You have to still keep that in mind that you want to grow your list, but it needs to come at the time when you're able to provide the information to your subscribers. Maybe you just need to connect with your audience. That could be something that you just want to start building an audience. And the only way you can connect with them is through the written word. And you, like I said, you always want to have that home base. And then there's some of us who just want to promote a cause or something that we're interested in. It doesn't have to always be about business. Sometimes I get sick and tired of hearing about build your business. It's like everybody don't have a business. Maybe you just have something that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, and you want to grow an audience around that. And maybe eventually it will lead into a product or a service that you could offer to your audience if there is a need. All right. So then, of course, you get your domain name and then you choose a platform. Don't try walking in those platform heels, by the way. So, yeah, this is me sitting there with and my cup would be some 5-hour energy, but, and vitamin water. But, here's just some of the platforms to think about. Of course, WordPress, there's the free version and the self-hosted. I actually started on the free version of WordPress. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And all these links here are links to blog posts about these topics. Then, of course, there's Medium. I have a blog post. Guest author came in and wrote about the difference between WordPress and Medium, pros and cons. Same way with Squarespace. I had someone come in and write a guest post about that. Haven't written too much about Wix or Weebly, but then Blogger is actually, that's the topic that Alfredo brought up yesterday, was about Blogger. And he asked me, did I think that, Google would ever think about shutting down Blogger? Now, of course, I'm going to come back on cam. Of course, I can't predict what any of these sites will do. Facebook, what are you going to do, right? You can't predict. What you think makes sense is never what they think makes sense, right? So I thought about that for a minute, though, for that question. And I just thought it's not practical for Google to even think about shutting down Blogger. And here's why. All of their blogs are on Blogger. I mean, be it from anything about YouTube, and they have several YouTube blogs. They have the YouTube blog, then they have the YouTube creators blog, then there's a Google Docs blog, and there's a blog for every Google product, and in some cases there's more than one blog, and they're all on Blogger. So I can't see them shutting down Blogger. That would be kind of silly. They may morph it into something else, but Blogger is still a good, relevant platform. Okay, yes, promote your content online and offline. It's really important that you realize that you don't just have to promote yourself on the internet. And I know as some of us older folks, we realize that because we were doing it way before the internet was popular. But once you have a blog or you have your online property, that doesn't mean that's the only thing that you use, or social media is the only thing you use to promote. So here's some examples of online promotion: your SEO, social, your YouTube, live video. Of course, those two things are near and dear to my heart, which is YouTube and live video. Pinterest, discovery. Oh my gosh. And have to separate Pinterest from social media, because we know that Pinterest is not really a social platform. It is a discovery or search and discovery platform, even though, of course, it often gets confused. And I don't know why I don't have podcasting on this slide, but I need to update the slide. And then, of course, there's blogging networks. Oh, there's the offline promotion. I talked about this on the podcast recently, the one in the upper left when I met Yoast. Then, of course, next to that is my social media marketing world, where I got smart and said, let me go stand next to Fanzo. And there, I'm kind of in the front second row, but I'm in the middle. That's important. And this is Joe Pardo, who joined our meetup group. You know, my daughter and I have the Philadelphia Podcasting Meetup Group. And this is where we met Joe. And you can't see us all being cut out there, but we're in that picture, me and my daughter and the rest of the folks who came to the meetup that night. Hey, Larry. And this was me predicting the future. Here I was, an attendee of AWeber's Ascend conference. And then these other pictures here at the bottom right are just different AWeber meetups. So this is the offline promotion of your blog, your meetups, your conferences, and other events. You know, it doesn't just have to be an organized meetup. It could just be, you know, workshops and things like that. And then other public speaking. And then sponsorships is also a way to promote offline, because you can just sponsor one of these events. And then, of course, there's charity. And that's self-explanatory. So there you go. Start your blog. If you haven't started a blog yet, you know, you don't have those excuses, because we've got the free blogging platforms, WordPress and Blogger.